Dear viewers, in this video, we will have a simple demonstration of how to launch an EC2 instance in AWS. For accessing all AWS services, we need to have an AWS account. If we need a root account with all access to all services, we need to register ourselves with credit card details. Amazon will deduct a minimal amount as part of verification. Later, the amount will be credited to our account. You can also access AWS as an IAM user, which will be created by the root user. After logging into the console, you click on the services, click on EC2, which will take you to Ec2 Dashboard. This dashboard lists all the resources related to EC2. As you can see, there are no resources available except for the default security group. Once you click on the instances, it will take us to the page where it lists the available instances. Currently, there are no instances available. We can click on the launch instance and it will take us to the step 1 where we need to choose the Amazon machine image. So Amazon provides multiple machine images. Machine images are like a template for the servers which we are going to launch, and this will have the OS and the record softwares pre-configured. You can see the checkbox. If we check that box, that will display only the free tier eligible machine images. For our demo purpose, we will use the Amazon Linux 2. You can see here the Ubuntu, Microsoft, and many other OS as Amazon machine image. So for our purpose, we will use Amazon Linux 2 as the machine image. So we can select that. After choosing the AMI, step 2 is to choose the instance type. So the instance type, we should check for the free eligible instance for our demo. So usually the instance type will be like T2.micro, T2.large, medium, and all these things. So this will specify the CPUs, the number of CPUs to be present in the server, and the memory, the size of the memory in gigabytes, and also the instance storage. So these kind of parameters will vary for different instance types. After choosing the instance type, the next step is to give the configuration details. So in the configuration details page, there are a lot of details which we need to provide in, but for the time being, we can have all of them as the default. So you can see that the number of instances in case if we need to configure auto scaling, we can change the number of instances. And there are purchasing options like the spot instances, on-demand instances, and the reserved instances. These are the types of purchasing options we may have. We may need to configure the EC2 instance to a network. We can use the default network. We can see the details in a later session, how to create a separate virtual private network, VPC, virtual private cloud. And the related subnet and public IP, those details also we can take as default. After providing the configuration details, next step is to add storage. By default, the EC instances will come with a root volume. The root volume is a temporary one, which means if we shut down or terminate the instance, whatever data stored in the root volume will be lost, and the root volume itself will be discarded from the instance. If you want a persistent storage, we may have to add a separate storage. We need to be careful when we are using the free tier eligible storage. If we exceed the limit, then we will be charged. For our demo purpose, we can have the root volume itself and continue. After adding the storage, next step is to add the tags. Adding tags is an optional step. Tags are required to group the resources in case for any particular project. If we have a set of resources, we can have the tags, we can add the project name in the tag so that we can group them easily. When we are querying for some other purpose, we can query all the resources easily using the tags. For this demo, we will skip. We don't need to add any tags. After adding the tags, the next step is to configure the security groups. The security groups are restrictive in nature, which means it will not allow any user or system to access unless otherwise specified in the security group. So for our demo purpose, we may have to access the instance through SSH terminal using TCP protocol, and we may also need to access the website once we create a web page. For that purpose, we may need to have provide access using HTTP protocol. So in both the cases, if you see in the source, it's given as 0.0.0.0. So this means it will allow access from any source IP. After adding the security groups, you can click on review and launch. So this will provide a screen with the details to be reviewed for the instance. So we can go through all the details which we have given so far, and then in case of any changes required, we can click on the previous button and go to the corresponding step and change the details. If everything is fine, if all the details are fine, we can click on the launch button. Once we click on the launch button, we may need a key pair for accessing the instance through SSH terminal. So for that purpose, we can choose either an existing key or we can create a new key pair. So for this demo purpose, we will choose the option to create a new key pair. We choose the RSA option. We have to give an appropriate name for the key pair and download it to our local system. We may have to keep it in the safe location. If we miss that key, we will not be able to access the instance. Then we may have to create another new key pair. After downloading the key pair and clicking on the launch instance, we will be redirected to the launching page. So the status will be in pending for some time. We can wait for few minutes, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and then you can click on the ID of the instance. You can also check. So the status will change to running after some time, which means the instance is launched. So this completes the demonstration for launching a EC2 instance. In the next video, we will see how to connect to this EC instance using SSH terminal. Also, we will install Apache web server and create a simple HTML page, and we will access this web page through browser. We will see in the next video.